All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Just wanted to quickly get into a little bit here in Acts 10, just to break down for you. You got new people that are coming in, just to break down for you this dream this vision rather, that Peter had when he was in a trance. Okay, because if you don't know, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. But then you also have what? You have the Israelite foreigners, or the Gentiles, that you have our nation of people, the Israelites, are scattered amongst them. Okay, so not only are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans the Israelites, but you also have the Israelite foreigners, all right? The people that have been scattered amongst these other nations that may look like a heathen, but they're actually an Israelite. And here in Acts 10, this is a good example, you could say, of, being able to break down who are the actual Gentiles that the scriptures make reference to in pertaining to salvation in the New Testament. All right, because not to ramble too much, but here in Acts 10, before we get into it, Christianity, you have a lot of Christian pastors that'll say that this is justifying that you can eat unclean food. Okay, which that's a damn lie. All right, so I'm going to break it down to you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So the point is at around verse 14, but I'm going to start at the top so we can get the context. Okay, so this is Acts 10 and 1. And it says, there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian Band. And I did the videos like a couple days ago or weeks ago, going into breaking down to you that Cornelius was an Israelite. All right. But now I'm going to show you still that he's an Israelite. All right. Cornelius, this man right here, is an Israelite. And you have Christians and other Israelite camps that'll try to say that Cornelius was a Gentile. Well, the way that when I break down to you the vision that Peter had, it's going to clearly show you that that's not talking about an actual heathen. All right, that's talking about an Israelite foreigner, someone who's an Israelite. Okay, just looks like another nation. So again, it said, Acts 10 and 1, Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian Band. Now, the Italian Band, that's dealing with the Roman army, and other people will use that as an excuse to say that he's a heathen as well. Well, it's that simple, man. Just like you had Israelites in the Roman army back in that day, it's the same thing like you have now. All right, my father was a part of the army, or the Air Force, I believe it was. Okay, now that doesn't make him a heathen. That doesn't make him well, in this day and age, we have America, which is Babylon the Great. Okay, but just because my dad was a part of the army, the Navy, doesn't mean he's an Edomite, which we know Esau's majority of these so-called white people, the top wicked heathen nation. All right, so just to give you an example, so let me read verse 2. It says, a devout man and one that feared the Most High with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to the Most High always. All right, showing you that this is a clear example that Cornelius is an Israelite, man. It said a devout man, and when you look at that word devout, it says, well, I'm going to let it play in the Greek.
Strong's G 2152, Eusebes.
Right? And it says, pious, dutiful, are devout, godly. And we know that the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, doesn't deal with these heathens, man. This is Psalms 147. He's only shared showed his word unto Jacob. You know, the Lord has only dealt with Israelites. So if Cornelius is a devout man and one that feared the Most High with all his house, then how could he have been a heathen? Okay, real quick before I hit the vision, to back up what I said about devout men, this is Acts 2:5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, you see, out of every nation under heaven, showing you that it said what? Jews, which are Israelites, okay, so-called black, Latinos, Native Americans. You are the God's chosen people. And it said devout men out of every nation under heaven. All right, showing you that if you're a devout man, and we know that the scriptures don't lie, and that's clearly you have to be an Israelite. Okay, so I'm going to get down to the point, the vision that Christians will try to use justifying eating unclean food. So this is Acts 10, and I'm just going to read down. I'm gonna speed read a little bit just so I can hit the point. All right, Acts 10:3. He saw in a vision, evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of the Most High coming into him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thine alms are come up for a memorial before the Most High. So, and the Lord doesn't listen to a heathen. You don't listen to these heathens' prayers. All right, showing you that Cornelius is an Israelite, man. All right, verse 5. And now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. He lodgeth with one Simon a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do. And when the angel which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. All right, so now we're about to get into the vision. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance. Okay, so he's on the housetop and he just fell into this trance when he was hungry. Okay, verse 11. And saw heaven open. So he's getting the vision, right? It says, and saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners, and let down to the earth. Okay, then I looked up a great sheet knit, basically like a sheet, a sheet that was carrying something. Verse 12, and it says, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. So a whole bunch of unclean animals, because we know that the scriptures give us what? The dietary law. Okay, and the scriptures tell us what we are and what we're not supposed to eat, and it goes into the description of how we can tell what we're not supposed to eat. All right, and we know a few of them would be what, pigs, duck, things of that nature. The scriptures speak on the fish, how they gotta have scales and fins. Okay, so there is dietary laws in the scriptures. Christianity will try to jump around and ignore that, man. And they'll try to say that this is justifying eating unclean food. That's simply because you lack the complete understanding of the scriptures. Now, verse 13 says, and there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. You see? And the voice spake unto him again the second time, would the Most High have cleansed that call not thou common. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now, while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate. So as you can see, Peter didn't know what that vision meant at this given moment in time. He didn't know that what the unclean food meant and what the Lord meant when he was saying arise and eat. But when we keep reading down, it's going to explain that point, man. See, Christianity, Christians don't read, man. Christians don't read. They'll read one verse and conclude the whole session. All right, you have to read these scriptures to understand, man. So, verse 17, so Peter just had the vision, right? And the men from Cornelius came. So I'm going to keep reading at verse 18 because we're going to break down the vision meant, all right, especially what Peter said at verse 14. All right, so verse 18, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, so he's still thinking about what it meant. Okay, so while Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius and said, behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? All right. Now, it's like I just lost the verse I was at. Right. Verse 21. I have a little bit more reading to do. All right. Just because I'm trying to keep it within context in order to break down what the vision meant. Okay. It says, then, right, we're at verse 22. And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man and one that feared the Most High, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from the Most High by an holy angel to send for thee into his house and to hear words of thee. Okay, this verse again shows you that Cornelius was an Israelite, man. Because it said that Cornelius was a just man. And when you go into that word just means righteous, man. So how was Cornelius righteous? Because he had faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay, and a heathen doesn't have faith. A heathen can't have faith. Okay, and it said, and one that feared the Most High. So Cornelius was an Israelite. So verse 23, then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow, Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. In the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them, and he had called together his kinsmen and near friends. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshiped him. So right now we're about to understand what the vision meant. Okay, just took a little bit of reading down in order to get all the context. It says, but Peter took him up, saying, stand up, I myself also am a man. Okay, because Cornelius he just fell on his knees to worship him. Verse 27, and as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of an other nation. All right, let me read this verse again, because this is explaining what that food meant in the unclean vision. Acts 10 and 28. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come into one of another nation. But the Most High have showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. You see? Now that's what it's talking about in verse 14. Let me go back up here at Acts 10. All right. So to sum it up, that unclean food was a representation of what? Israelite foreigners, man. Okay. AKA what? Cornelius. See, Peter didn't get it at first. That's why I had to get the context showing you that even after Peter got the vision, he didn't understand what it meant. Okay, because he thought the Lord was just telling him to eat unclean food. Okay, which that's not the case. Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the Lord was just telling him that what? To basically not judge based off the appearance. All right. That unclean food was a representation of Cornelius because he was an Israelite foreigner. He was a Gentile that was actually an Israelite. And if you look at him on the outward appearance, just like in modern day 2022, you have what? You have a lot of so-called white people, or you'll have a Asian or an Indian. You know what I'm saying? Even though they may look like these heathens, inwardly their spirits could be Israelites. And that's all that vision meant, man. That food that he seen descending from heaven was a representation of what? These Gentiles that are actually Israelites. Okay. Peter seen it in verse 14, and he didn't know that that's what it was talking about. That's why he said what? Acts 10 and 14. But Peter said, "Not so, Lord, for I've never eaten anything that is common or unclean," right? Because of course Peter keeps the dietary laws, but that's not what it was talking about. It was just basically a metaphor, man, a dark saying. Right? In verse 15, and the voice spake unto him again the second time, "What the Most High hath cleansed, that call not thou common." Okay? This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. So, and that's why when you read verse 17, now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean. You see, he didn't know what it meant. But all it meant was that what? These Israelites, although they may look like a heathen on the outside, you still have Israelites that are a part of these other nations, man. Because we know it's about what? Ultimately, it's about if you have faith and you fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? And then it's about what? Who your father is, man. Right? Who your father is, which that's not completely accurate in these times. All right. That's why it's all about if you have faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and it's about being spiritual. All right. Romans 8 and 16. But let me hit back here in Acts 10. Just to wrap it up again. Okay. Acts 10 and 22. Or excuse me, it's at verse 28. And he said unto them, "Ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation." Right? And that's going into what in the vision? We had all the food, all the unclean food, all right, the common food. But then it says what? "But the Most High have showed me." And how did the Lord show him? The Lord showed him through that vision that he had. Okay. It says, but the Most High have showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Therefore came I unto you without gainsaying as soon as I was sent for. Because he knew that Cornelius was an Israelite. Okay. Based on that vision, he got the understanding of it, that he was an Israelite. That's why it said, but the Lord have showed me, the Most High have showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. All right. Showing you that is talking about these Israelite foreigners, man. And Cornelius is the prime example right here. Verse 29, I asked therefore what intent ye have sent for me. Now, that was the point in Acts 10, right? To break down the vision. Also, I just had 2 more precepts showing you that the Lord, compares us. He compares us to animals at times. Okay, just to get more context on what is said in regards to that great sheepnet coming down, showing you that it's talking about us. All right. Let me see. Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. See, two dumb animals, right? So you see how the Lord is comparing us to animals, 2 dumb animals. Okay. It says, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Right. And we know exactly what that's talking about. So-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners. Jake is just rebellious as hell, man. Not listening to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, Lamentations 4 and 3. Even the sea monsters draw out the breasts. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel like the ostriches in the wilderness. All right, another example of how the Lord compared us to animals, man. About how cruel our women were in the past, and especially right now, man. Okay? Just like the ostrich will abandon its... I heard something like that. The ostrich would abandon its eggs in the desert. Okay, and then it said what? Even the sea monsters draw out their breasts. They give suck to their young ones. So even the sea monsters care about, even these fish and sea creatures care about their little ones. But you see, the Israelite woman is just completely through. Now, just to wrap it up, this is Acts 10 and 14. Okay. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, would the Most High have cleansed, that call not thou common. Right? So now you should thoroughly understand that this is not talking about unclean food. This is not making it lawful to eat unclean food. Okay, this was talking about Israelite foreigners. Okay, Gentiles, Cornelius being the prime example in this verse. Okay, that a Gentile, an Israelite, may look like another nation. Okay, but it's actually talking about what? You're actually an Israelite. Okay, it's all about your spirit. If your spirit bears witness with our spirit, and if you have faith in the names Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, okay, Bahashem Rakakodash. So with that, Lord